There's no two ways about it. There's nothing quite like Penn State versus Iowa. It is the premier rivalry in college sports. These have been really the top two teams over the last 10 plus years. And now the Hawks are headed to Penn State for a duel against the number one ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. And this is scary thought enough. This is probably Penn State's best team ever. And last year, their team literally broke the record. But this team could re-break that record. That's just how good they are. And that's just how big of a task the Iowa Hawkeyes have in front of them. So I'm going to go weight by weight, give you the breakdown and my thoughts on the different matchups between Penn State and Iowa, starting at 125, where you got Lightning Luke Lillidahl taking on Joey Cruz. And for this matchup, it's a big spot for Luke Lillidahl, and I think he's going to get the job done here. He's a favorite here. He's already in the top 5 or 6 in the rankings. He beat Caleb Smith. He's looked really solid this year, and I think it's going to be a closer match than maybe some Penn State fans would expect, because Joey Cruz is really good on his feet. He's tougher to get to than most. He can get to legs. Now, if he gets to the mat and Luke Lillidahl really gets a lot going there, it could be a longer day, and I still think Luke is a reasonable favorite. But don't be surprised if this winds up being a decision for Luke Lillidahl to get things started at 125 pounds. And then you go to 133, where you can expect another, and this match will probably be closer than 25, but you got Braden Davis from Penn State taking on Drake Ayala from Iowa. And last time these two wrestled, they've only met once. They're both down at 125. It was in this dual meet, in fact. Drake Ayala won. He had the slide-by takedown, and that was pretty much it. Low output from both guys, not a ton of attacks. Braden was coming on towards the end, and Drake was able to hold him off. And I feel like you look at the seasons both have had this year, you have to favor Drake Ayala in this matchup. And I think his single leg, his slide by, I think he's got more ways to generate scores from his feet than Braden Davis. And Drake's really solid on the mat. He gets off the bottom. I think he's just a little bit better on his feet. So I think Ayala gets it done for the Hawks in a must-win match, because you go to 141 and it's Bo Bartlett taking on maybe Ryder Block. I'm not sure who Iowa's going to use, but not a ton to say here other than Bo Bartlett is a substantial favorite. The question here is Bo Bartlett going to get after it and push for bonus points, or is he going to settle in, get a couple takedowns, ride for a little bit, and get a decision? I think either way, you can't expect anything other than a Bo Bartlett win, and a pretty lopsided one at that. And then you go to 149. This is one of the bigger matches. You're going to have Kyle Parko taking on Shane Van Ness. And if you go back to their meeting at the All-Star Classic in 2023, this was an amazing match. Probably the best match of that card was Kyle Parko versus Shane Van Ness. This is back when Parko was at Arizona State. He had a fine year. And then we saw Shane Van Ness not long after this that matchup. He was out for the year with an injury. Well, now he's back. He's looked fantastic. He does have the loss to Ridge Lovett, but still, Shane's having a great year. So is Kyle Parko. Kyle Parko's still undefeated on the season. He's had some lopsided wins. He's had some close wins, but he's getting his hand raised every single time. Now, he is 0-2 against Shane Van Ness, so he's going to look to get his first win against the Penn State Nittany Lion in this dual meet. And I think he's got a good chance to do it. On the mat, is he going to have an opportunity to turn on top? Probably not. But he's proven he can get those takedowns. I think he can take down Shane Van Ness. He's got to withstand the pace. I think he's going to be able to do that. This is close to a coin flip, but you have to lean Shane Van Ness until Kyle Parko can get over the hump against Van Ness. And then you go to 157, and this is another big matchup. Man, it's two titans at 157. You got Ja'Cory Teamer for Iowa, Tyler Kasak for Penn State, and Kasak has been such a, I don't want to say surprise. The guy was daggone third place last year at NCAA, but how well he adjusted to going up to 157 and the guys he's beaten and how dominantly he's been winning matches. It's really been impressive. But Ja'Cory Teamer, despite the fact that he's been out for an extended period of time, he's looked fine when he's wrestled, and everyone knows his pedigree. Everyone knows what Ja'Cory Teamer can do when he's at his best. But he's missed a lot of time from an injury, and if he's a little bit less than 100%, that may be all the difference Tyler Kasak needs to get his hand raised here. And I think going into this season, I would have said Ja'Cory is probably 70-30 favorite against Tyler Kasak. Since the season's begun, that margin has narrowed, and I think it's more of a 60%, maybe 55% for Ja'Cory Teamer. But I think it boils down to this. Jacory's defense is so exemplary. It's so high level. I feel like it's going to take Kasek a couple of cracks to get a takedown. I'm not sure that's going to come against Jacory team. I think his defense is just a little too good right now for Tyler Kasek. So I think he is probably the winner here. And then we go to 65. It's a little bit of an easier call. Mitchell Messerbrink against Michael Caliendo. Caliendo having a great year. He's undefeated. But the bar is just different when it's Mitchell Messerbrink. This is one of the guys in the front running to win a Hodge Trophy. He's someone who scores maybe more than anyone. He can score from neutral, top, gets off the bottom really well, and his pace and attack rate is maybe the highest in the country at any weight class. And so they wrestled many times in the past last year, and it was always a dominant win for Mitchell Messerbrink. And there's nothing to suggest it's going to be different this year. That's why I'm excited to see what is Caliendo's approach, having a year to think about and know. Michael Caliendo has known since NCAA's last year, the guy to beat for me to be a national champion is Mitchell Messerbrink. And so I'm curious to see the adjustments he attempts to implement in this match. But plans only get you so far against wrestlers as good as Mitchell Messerbrink. But still, I'm intrigued by this matchup, maybe more than most. Then you go to 174, Patrick Kennedy versus Levi Haynes, national champion, and down at 157. I think this is a really close match, actually. Levi is going to be my pick here. I don't think he's running away with it. Patrick Kennedy has been wrestling everyone extremely tough. I don't see him getting turned. I don't see him giving up multiple takedowns. I think it's probably a one takedown match for Levi Haynes. I think Kennedy's going to have a hard time getting to the legs of Haynes. His head hands is really good, and Haynes' finishing is really, really solid. So when he gets in, he's a very consistent finisher. So I would expect Haynes gets in. He maybe rides for a little bit. I would be surprised with a turn. So probably one takedown riding time for Levi Haynes against Patrick Kennedy, who has been a stud for the Hawks this year. He's been really fantastic. And then you go to 184. If you're looking for heat, you're looking for a little bit of bad blood, you're going to get it at 184 no matter what. Because it's going to be Carter Starace taking on either Gabe Arnold or Angelo Ferrari. And that's going to be the question, who wrestles in this dual meet. Because Gabe Arnold looks like he's going to be the starter, but Angelo Ferrari, he's a good guy to use in a tough dual meet. And you want to see, hey, how does he match up against a guy like Carter Starace? And if you go back, Arnold, when he was in high school, he sort of called out Starace. He said, hey, I'm not impressed by this guy. And then you've got Angelo Ferrari and the whole Ferrari dynamic with AJ and the Instagram posts and all that stuff. There's bad blood here no matter which way you slice it with Carter Starace. So no matter who Coach Brands goes with, Carter Starace is going to have a little extra edge, a little extra chip on his shoulder, if that's even possible for Carter Starace. So you're not going to want to miss this one, if not just for the great wrestling, because it's two great wrestlers no matter what, but also for the added dramatic element that we're going to see at 184. And then you go to 197, you're going to have Stephen Buchanan taking on Josh Barr. And coming into this year, I felt like with Josh Barr and Tyler Kasek, really good wrestlers, probably going to be undersized, and that's going to hold them back a little bit at this weight class. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. Josh Barr has not only been good and big enough, he's been great. And he's been maybe the most impressive 197-pounder this year. What 197-pounder, I'll put it to you this way, what 97-pounder has been more impressive this year than Josh Barr, with a major decision over Michael Beard, with a win over Stephen Little, dominating really solid wrestlers with a high attack rate. I'm not sure anyone's been more impressive, but that does not mean that he's my pick here. That does not mean he's the favorite against Stephen Buchanan, because I still think there's a different level of wrestler that Josh Barr has not yet wrestled and has not yet defeated. And that's what we're going to learn against Stephen Buchanan in this matchup. And that's why it may be the number one match in this dual meet. I'm not sure. I go back and forth. It could be 84. It could be 97. It could be 57. It could be 49. But 197, I think, will learn the most about the title contending capabilities of both the wrestlers. And I think we'll learn that Josh Barr is right there. I think this is going to be a very competitive match. And I'm not sure how competitive I thought it was going to be in November, but now it's mid-January. And I think Josh Barr absolutely has a shot in this matchup against Stephen Buchanan. And is he the favorite? Maybe not, but this match is probably a coin flip. And who knows who I'm going to pick. I may end up going with Josh Barr. And then the heavyweight, hey, Greg Kerfley is going to be a big favorite against Big Ben Keeter. There's not a ton to discuss there. He's going to be really tough to beat. So at the end of it, when the dust settles, it's going to be Penn State extending their dual streak, which is like 65 or so matches at this point. I mean, I think they're going to win. I think they're probably going to run away with it from, really from 65 up, they're just so lethal. Very tough to beat. And Iowa's going to have to pull a number of upsets if they want to go into Penn State and leave with a win. But either way, it's going to be a great duel. This is the top 2 teams in the country. They're going to battle it out. You're going to watch it live. I hope you all tune in. But I also want your predictions. How do you think this match goes? Do the Iowa Hawkeyes have a chance? What upsets are you predicting? I want to hear from you.